A better day weather-wise for day 2, with the elements restricting activity on day 1, but going into the second day, Yorkshire in a good position with opponents Warwickshire 152 for 8. Barker produced the first 4 of the day off Rashid to go to 39, and for a short time Barker and Wright held Yorkshire up, but then Ben Code took his 5th wicket in the innings, clean bowling Wright for 9, Warwickshire 165 for 9. Barker, though, was still scoring well, and former Yorkshire bowler Hannon Dolby struck a fine leg side 4. A single for Barker gave him 50, and these vital runs for the home side. But a bowling change did the job. Barker edged Bresnan to hard out for 50, Warwickshire 178 all out, 3 bonus points for Yorkshire. And for your records, Code 5 for 52, great bowling again from the youngster, Bresnan 2 for 16, Patterson 2 for 30. Well, after 2 maidens, Live got the Yorkshire innings underway with a fine drive through the covers to register a boundary off Barker, but then he was strangled down the leg side, caught behind off Wright for that 8, and Yorkshire 9 for 1. New man Peter Hanscomb got underway with 2 runs, and Lees eventually got off the mark with 3 runs through the leg side off Wright. It was a steady start from Yorkshire, with Hanscomb looking good and scoring most of his runs off the back foot. At lunch then, Yorkshire 40 for 1 from 16 overs, Lees is 9 and Hanscomb's on 20. Hanscomb drove Hannon Dolby for 3 runs in the opening over after lunch, and he was scoring well while Lees played the anchor role, but he did produce a stand and deliver shot to take 4 off Clark. Hanscomb struck Hannon Dolby down to third man for yet another boundary, and Lees drove at Clark and it sped over the slips of 4, and a beautiful cover drive followed from Lees, that 4 taking him to 24. The partnership was reaping reward, but it ended when Lees edged a slip off Barker and Clark took the catch, Lees out for a good 36. Hanscomb went to his 50 with 7 fours off 89 balls. Hanscomb was well into his stride and he hit Barker over cover point for yet another boundary. The Australian was producing a fine array of shots, including leg side 4s off the spinner Patel, but then Chris Wright accounted for him, bowling in for 75. Yorkshire 132 for the loss of 3 wickets. Balance provided back-to-back 4s off Wright as Yorkshire moved closer to Warwickshire's 178, and with Leaning they moved along steadily, and the 150 came up as Leaning steered Patel to the third man boundary. Further boundaries follows, and at tea, a healthy position for Yorkshire. There are 165 for the loss of 3 wickets, a deficit of just 13. Leaning is 19, skipper Balance on 22. First ball drama in the evening session as Gary Balance departed, caught behind by Ambrose off former Yorkshire bowler Hannon Dolby for 22. Leading produced a fine glance to register another 4 off Clark, and Bresnan got away a 4 off Hannon Dolby. 2 lusty blows from Bresnan allowed Yorkshire to get their noses in front, and a fine cover drive to the boundary from Tim brought up the 200 and a batting bonus point. Runs were now coming well for Yorkshire, and a 4 from Bresnan brought up the 50 partnership. But then the breakthrough as Leaning was caught by Hayne at short leg off Patel for 40. A useful partnership from Leaning and Bresnan. Rashid was the new batsman, but as Bresnan was struck the next 4, a streaky shot to third man off Trott. Rashid struck a 4 when Trott over-pitched to take Yorkshire to 240 for 5, and Tim Bresnan with a lofted 4 went to his half-century from 82 balls. Rashid helped himself to 4 runs off Hannon Dolby and a second batter's bonus point at 250 for 5. Both Bresnan and Rashid were picking off runs with ease as the lead raced towards the 100 mark. A polished offside 4 from Bresnan brought up the 50 partnership, but then the new ball gave Keith Barker and Warwickshire some reward, a wicket as he trapped Bresnan LBW for 61. Yorkshire at this stage 279 for 6, a lead of 101. Hod and Rashid saw it out to the end, and at the close Yorkshire 295 for 6, a very satisfying day. Rashid 35, Hod 6, it's a lead of 117.
Class.